Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. Today, I have an awesome guest. She's an entrepreneur, female coaches coach, and business strategist with organic lead generation as the founder of Raw Leaders. She helps female coaches ditch overwhelm and create their first 10K business months in 90 days and scale their business. Welcome, Lisa Barry, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much, Athin. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm super excited about all the incredible things that we're going to talk about throughout today.
Yes, it's going to be so awesome. So thank you for being here as well. I'm sure it's going to be amazing value for everyone watching and listening. So you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Well, I'm a very successful entrepreneur now. Flashback 2 years ago, I was doing a 52K year in my business. So, this whole coaching journey started probably about 7 years ago. 7 years ago, and I used to be an engineer. I was an engineer, and it used to suck the soul out of me. And I used to be in a space where I was working without a purpose, without a mission, without any contribution to the world other than building a road that people would just complain about. So I got to a point where I was just like, enough is enough. I need to be able to connect more and develop more and do more. And so I went onto the path of personal development to find out exactly what it is that I wanted to do, because I felt, and I'm sure that a lot of you are listening, might feel this sense of like deep passion and like you've got all of this inside of you, but it's like, where do you put it? What do you put it into, and who do you affect with that passion? And so I lived in the space where I just felt like it was bottling up all the way to the top of my neck, and I just I didn't know how to. And so through this personal development quest, I stumbled across a coaching school and learned about coaching being an avenue to be able to teach and inspire and make a difference in the world. And so I ventured onto that journey. And as I was going on that journey, as you know, fears around being judged, or fears around being seen, or fears around what everybody goes through as they start to step up and step out into their truth, I experienced. And so for probably about a good 5 years, I dabbled, 5 to 6 years, I dabbled, up until a point where I decided, well, enough's enough. Like, how many more years do I need to waste? How many more years do I need to go through? How much more pain do I need to experience for me to know that my greatness is on the other side of whatever my resistance is? And so I got to a point where I thought, someone said to me, you deserve to know what it feels like to be healthy. And this was in relation to health at the time. And I was thinking about my body and I was thinking about health. And I thought, well, if I think about that in a business context, I deserve to know what it's like to be wealthy. I deserve to know what it's like to be great. I deserve to know what it's like to see my greatness and feel my greatness and feel the pride and feel all of those things that I have not experienced yet. And I just kept coming up with all the reasons why I shouldn't and all the reasons why so many people were better, up until I started to say, well, what if I went all in and decided that no matter what it took, I was going to show myself what it is that I was capable of. No matter what it took, I literally had to take my ego aside, take everything apart and go, you know what? In all my rawness, all I want to see is how great I am. Because if I can see how great I am, I know that I'm going to make a difference in so many people's lives through what it is that I'm doing. And so I went into that journey. And when I made that decision, people asked, Lisa, how did you go from a 52K year to a 52K month? And the difference was one decision. My decision to go absolutely 110% in, not the maybe I'm out, maybe I'll try this, maybe I'll see. It was I'm 110% in. And whatever I need to do, if you tell me, Athin, that I need to paint my face blue, I will paint my face blue. Like whatever you tell me, and I'll become an avatar. I will do whatever it takes to get there. So I just listened and I surrendered my ego. And when that happened, I went from a 52K year to a 52K month, to a 56K month, to a 73K month, to 133K month, and so forth. And ended up doing 7 figures in 10 months. And it was a huge shift from what was possible for me, but it became possible because of one decision, but not one decision once. It was that one decision every single day. Every single day when people don't want to make that decision, I made that decision. It was a repetitive decision of no matter what it takes, I will paint my face blue. If Athin says to paint my face blue, I will do whatever it takes to get there. And I used to listen to my mentors. Whatever they said, I would be the first person to implement. I'd be the first person to ask a question. I'd be the first person to put my hand up to volunteer for anything. So it came from a space of giving and receiving and giving and receiving and creating abundance. And then through that created raw leaders. And we took off from having 35 clients in 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago now, to now having over 140 clients now. And it's just grown significantly to being a multi-million-dollar business. And it wasn't easy. However, the journey of going through that, and anybody who's listening to that and wanting to delve in more in, like I'm trying to do this journey in a really quick nutshell. Otherwise, we'd probably speak for this entire show. But the journey is making decisions, is the decisions that you make today shape your future. So whatever you decide to do or not do is going to have a consequence. And so when I started to realize the impact of my decision making, it changed my life completely.
Yeah, love that. Wow. Powerful, powerful story. Thanks for sharing, Lisa, the short version, so we can get some gold as well on this show today. So yeah, really powerful. And I love that. Yeah, it all comes down to those decisions and committing to those decisions. And, you know, you're an example of what's possible in a short period of time once we do commit. So really, really love that. So let's get more into coaching now, right? And obviously, you're helping, you know, female coaches, whether, you know, from day one and obviously moving forward, you know, all the way through the business to scaling. So obviously there's a lot more people sort of getting into the industry now and things like that. And a lot of people like you have a lot of limiting beliefs, right? You know, especially, you know, when we're starting out. So what are some of the, I guess, limiting beliefs and things that you're finding with, you know, the female coaches, the coaches that you're working with, the common ones?
So the common limiting beliefs that I've experienced when I first started, and also what my clients experience when they first start, is, well, I'm not as great as this person, therefore I shouldn't do it. So they start to go into this comparison around how do people speak, or, oh, they created this success because they've got this, and this, and I don't have this, and this, therefore I'm not successful. Or it could be, if I create success, then I don't believe that I've got the capacity to handle it. So I can't even handle my life right now. What makes me believe that I can create the success? And there's so much in that we could unpack, because the thing is, like, even creating the success, for you to get there, you will have to grow and you'll be able to handle it. But a lot of people at the start are looking, well, I'm here right now, and with my thinking right now, with who I am right now, if I think about making 6 figures in my business, I don't know how I'm going to handle that. Well, of course not, because you haven't gone on the journey, right? And so people have that, or it could be, I've let myself, this is a bigger one, I've let myself down so many times in the past. What makes me believe right now that this is going to be any different? And that's like one of the biggest ones that I feel. And, you know, often when people come to me, they're in a space where they're in a little bit of blame and a little bit of shame, and a combination of both, where they've gone, I've let myself down and other people have let me down. So now I'm in such a vulnerable space that I don't believe that I've got what it takes, because I'm playing the blame and shame game the whole time. And if it's not shame for me, then it's this person's fault. But if it's not that person's fault, then it's shame on me. And through this limitation, it's really crippling in so many ways, because a lot of these women, all they want to do is make a difference and feel significant in what they're doing and leave a footprint. And it's heartbreaking to see so many people give up on their dreams because they didn't get the right support, or they didn't get the right, you know, strategy or structure that's going to support them in getting there. So there's so many different limiting beliefs, but I would attest the biggest ones to blame and shame, comparison, and well, what if I'm successful, or what if I'm not successful, and it proves me right and it proves me wrong, either or of those. And so those are, if I were to think about the top three that they experience on a consistent basis, that those would be the ones.
Yeah, love that. Really powerful. Thank you for sharing, Lisa, as well. And so obviously mindset is one critical part, like we're talking about, but obviously we need to grow the business, right? So that we can, be able to support ourselves and help more people and all of that. And you focus on organic lead generation, right? So paying money on ads. So do you want to maybe share a little bit about that? Maybe a tip about, how we can get more leads organically as well?
Yeah. So firstly, I want to touch on the difference between organic and paid, because a lot of people are like, well, I'm starting out in business, I'm going to go straight into Facebook ads. Now, the thing is this, if you have not yet mastered how to connect to your network who already trusts you and has got that relationship with you, then you're building on, if you can't sell to them, then you're going directly to a cold market. That is, if you go through an ad, you're going to a cold market that doesn't know you, and you've got to still build that relationship. So the biggest, when anybody starts, regardless, I don't not believe in ads. I do believe in ads as well. So it's not to say that that's yes or no. I just think at the start of your journey, you don't need to fork out a lot of money into ads straight away. It's something that you need to build up your business acumen or your client acumen. So how do you know your clients? Do you know what makes them tick? Do you know what their problems are? Do you understand exactly how to speak to them in their language, not yours? And starting to develop that so much more earlier on is going to support you, that when you do go to ads in the future, you're able then to speak directly to the person problem, and your conversion rates are a lot higher. So from how to generate more leads, it is, if we were to put it in simple terms without going into all the strategies, but if we were to put it into simple terms, the very first thing that I teach anybody is learn how to speak your client's language, not your language. Because often this is what happens. A coach comes in and they're speaking, let's say A to Z. They speak Z language, right? And they're like, you know what? This is all about self-love and being able to connect deeply to your past trauma that's gone through the different tribal cycles, da-da-da-da-da. They go through and share all of that. But the client is like, I'm just pissed off with my mom, right? Or my boyfriend's pissing me off, or whatever it is. And that's their language. But this person here is going, but you need self-love. And they go, well, yeah, how are you talking about? So, the first component of this is learning how to speak. It's kind of like going to, it's being a geologist, and the geologist telling you everything about the soil, and you having all the rocks, and you have no idea what the hell the person's saying. But the person's going, well, obviously this composite of this rock involves these different minerals. And you're going, what the hell are you saying? It's going over my head. That's what happens for a lot of people when they start off, because the coach is really passionate about sharing their message and their truth, but it's not about you when you first start out as a coach. It really isn't. It is about your clients and how you support your clients. And as you get them into your program and as you support them in going on that journey, this is where you will start to be able to speak your insert Z language there, whatever the Z language is for you, and you get to take them through that journey to go from A to B to Z all the way to Z, so that they learn the alphabet, because you learned the alphabet too. So my first piece of advice is, in terms of organic or in terms of ads, both of them, is to learn how to speak your client's language like the back of your hand. You meet them, you know exactly what their pain points are, you know exactly how to speak to them, you know exactly how to connect with them. And then from that space, then you can start to expand strategically.
Yeah, love that. Really powerful, and love how you broke that down so simply, and it's so true. And a simple way is obviously asking people, right, out there, like asking certain questions to find it from them, right, if you don't know it specifically yourself. So yeah, that's really powerful.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. It would be like you can do posts, you can ask people from that space, you can connect with old clients, you can just start talking to people and see what language they are using with you that are ideal clients for you. You can be a little bit of a weird Facebook stalker and you can go through your list and you can go, oh, this person, hey, how are you doing? And just start talking to them and listen to the language that they're using. Because generally it's how you used to communicate 2 years ago. If you don't have pro bono clients, or if you're starting out brand new as a coach, it's generally who you were 2 years ago in terms of the language that you're using. But sometimes we forget about it because we get so caught up with what we're experiencing. But again, this journey to being able to support and impact people is not only about you, it is about you, but it's through what you do that you can connect to you.
Yeah, love that extra points. Awesome, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like the personal development coaching industry, especially, is growing a lot, right? Like this year, it's putting a lot of space, right? And it's becoming more, I guess, saturated, let's call it, right? A lot more people, you're seeing it online now, a lot more people are becoming coaches, which is great because, more people can help more people, but, it's a little bit saturated. So how do you think that, we can stand out, I guess, from the other coaches out there today?
Yeah, cool. I love this. So counter question. There's so many different doctors out there, right? But you've got the doctor that you go to, or there's so many different teachers out there, but you've got a favorite teacher, or there's so many different, there's so many different people that support you in different things in life. And so what I would say to anybody listening is kind of think about what attracts you to those people. Is it their demeanor? Is it the way that they give? Is it the way that they present themselves? So things that I teach within Raw Leaders, and the reason why it's called Raw Leaders is because you've got to be a real authentic woman and lead from that space. You're building your business from the inside out. That's what makes your business unique. When you try and model and do everything that someone else is doing, then you're not building a business that is unique to this world, because nobody has your experience. Nobody has your traumas. No one has your celebrations and your wins. No one has your personality. Nobody has your family history. Not everybody's got all of those things in combination. And so what we do, and the way I kind of explain is like, you've got this magical potion pot, right? And what we want to do is we're going to go, oh, this is a little thing that we took from your childhood. This is from your teenagers. This is from when you were working. This is from your mom. This is from your dad. This is from that really bad relationship that you learned a lot of stuff in. This is from this and that. Let's put that into this magical pot. Let's stir it up and get your potion out there. Because what's unique to you and what you believe won't sell actually will. A client came to me and she was a spiritual crypto person. So she was spiritual, and people told her in the past, you can't grow a coaching business because spiritual people don't buy. I was like, that is a lie. They spend so much money on crystals and meditations and retreats, and they spend a hell of a lot of money. So that is untrue. And then this same place said to her that she can't be a crypto coach because, well, people would rather invest into crypto than to invest in her in a course, because that's where the money's going and it's not going to develop. She is now a spiritual crypto coach with blue hair, and she's made over 500K in her business in the last 12 months. Right? And I just think well, how do you stand out? You become yourself. The thing is, the only way you stand out of the crowd is not to be the crowd. Right? It's about not being afraid to be a flamingo in a room of crows, and standing proud on your one leg and looking at all the crows that are doing all the things that crows do and going, well, I'm this very bright pink flamingo and this is who I am. And the more you do that, the more you start to create a world where there's not going to be competition, because the people who come to you for your rawness. They come to you for what it is that you bring, and that's what they connect to. They don't connect to someone else because it doesn't align with them because you are bringing you. If someone is being someone else, they're not going to trust that person in the first place anyway. So, if you put on a mask, people can't connect to you. If you pretend that you're someone else, people can't get in to connect with you. And the only reason why they'll buy from you is when they connect to you and they trust you. So if you've got a mask on, then there's no way that we're going to be able to do that. So how do you stand out? You become yourself. You allow yourself to go, you know what? I have got different aspects of my life that create my magical potion. I am passionate about this. I am passionate about this. I am passionate about this. Will these three work in combination? Probably not. Probably yes. Absolutely. You just haven't figured out how to take that into the world. And so, you look at things like Tesla, you look at different people who have created so many phenomenal things in the world where people didn't believe that it was possible. And so you've got to be the pioneer of whatever your niche is. You've got to become the pioneer that creates a difference. Even if you don't feel like you do have it, you do. You just haven't dug deep enough.
Yeah, love that. Really powerful words and so true how we can be unique in that marketplace. Love it, Lisa. Really powerful.
Yeah.
So now let's take it to the next level, right? Where let's talk a little bit about scaling now. And because, that's obviously the next step. People might be doing a lot of things themselves. They might have a VA or something like that. But then I guess, when you first started to scale, to get really to that next level so you can really build it to that, multiple seven figures that you've got the business, what type of roles and things, like what type of team members, did you initially have to bring on, I guess, so that you could scale that fast as well? It's not just scaling, but you scaled very fast. So what key people did you have in your team, initially to make sure that you could get there and do it well at the same time?
I'm just smiling because it's been a roller coaster. So I would say that, the first person that I brought on was an EA, just to support me I used to be addicted to admin. Because it was very safe to hang out there. So I used to be like, ooh, I need to work out these numbers and I need to send this email. And that would take me away from doing lives or going and sharing marketing, creating more of my success. And I know so many women, so many men too, that actually just hide behind the scenes. And it's so one of my missions is to support people who are yearning to be seen but are hiding behind the closet, to break through that and then go, you need to step out. So the first thing I delegated was what is my hindrance? What will create me more money? Well, if I am going in more impact as well. And whenever I think about money, I think about impact. That's why I've got to say that there. But when I had a look at it, it's all right, my administration is taking up 70% of my time right now. Holy crap. If I hired someone to take care of the admin, I'd have 70% of my time back and I would be able to then use that time to connect with more people. So I did that. Then I hired a head coach to support me in delivering because of the influx of clients that were coming through, I couldn't deliver it on my own. So I hired a head coach, and at a similar time, I hired a marketer at the same time. From there, I started to hire more virtual assistants to support in the background because it started to grow and grow and grow. And so now the team has gone from having just me to having, we've got 1, 2, 3, probably about 8 full-time staff in the last 2 years, 8 full-time staff and 6 part-time, and so, or casual. And so we've got a bunch of people working together, 14 people working together. And it's just been phenomenal in that space. So if you're looking to scale, it's through people, yes. It's also through systems. And so, do delete, delegate. So, whatever you're doing, do it, but then do it to delegate. So the question is, once you've done the thing, how can you not do it now? Once you've done it once, how can you not do it? And so it doesn't mean to delete it and get rid of it, but how can you systemize it, automate it, connect it to a person that is able to support you in delivering that now? So then that way it no longer becomes something that you get stuck on, because the whole aim of scaling for after you've started and you've created that foundation, you're looking at scaling is how can you move from being in the business to on the business. And when you move from in the business to on the business, it's like, well, whatever it is that you're doing, how does it not depend on you anymore? How can it start to depend on a system or people in a way that supports your business to grow from that space? So it's a combination of people, yes, systems, absolutely, and then thinking from a business owner perspective. So you can't scale without you looking into the future. If you're so consumed with the present or the past, guess where you're staying? So it is having the space, energy, and mental capacity to look into the future and solve problems now, if you can, before they happen in the future, right? So how do you make your business predictable? How can you create it in a way that supports you in getting there? And that's how you scale. So that scaling is a planned process, so that you're not hit with, holy crap, and this, 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 because then you're going to be on like a hamster on a wheel. Trust me, I know.
Love it. That's awesome, Lisa. And yeah, awesome that you built a team like that over time as well. And love that business owner mentality as well. Really powerful. I think one thing that links in well with this as well is KPIs, right? You know, key performance indicators, as people that don't know the acronym. So it's about like, how are we measuring, right? And then managing, like, I guess it's potentially our team is obviously a really key one, but even with our clients as well, because we want to make sure that our clients are getting results. So do you want to maybe just share, like, I don't know, a few, obviously there's so many KPIs that are potentials, but maybe a few key KPIs that you think are important, you know, to measure in the business as well, especially as you're scaling the business to make sure that, you're doing it properly at the same time.
The first thing that I take care of, first one, client results. First key performance indicator, if your business is doing well, your clients are succeeding. That's our number one. So what we do is we actually have, raw leader clients in the last year, raw leader clients, not me, raw leaders clients have made collectively $3 million in the last year, right? So it's like, that's not just money, that is people impacted, there's so much within that. That is personal growth. That is changing families' lives. It's those sort of things. So we measure the number of money, like the money that comes in for their business. Now, if you're in a normalization niche, you're like, how do I measure that from a KPI perspective? If I am trying to help someone with their confidence, how can I say, I have created 3 million movements of confidence, right? So it's a little bit hard. And so I just want to touch on it for anybody who's in normalization niche. What is normalization? Normalization is anything that's not a number. So it could be confidence, courage, something that's an emotional sort of space. So you measure it through how you rate your client tracking. So like I will say to my clients, if you're in a normalization niche, you want to go 5-star, right? So 5 out of 5, they've achieved their goals in terms of their confidence acquisition, whatever that is. And so they've acquired confidence, this milestone. So 5 out of 5. So you can then go, every single one of my clients have had a 5-star, completely built their confidence. And this is X amount of clients in a year, right? So then that way you can still have that key performance indicator there to measure your successy clients. So that would be number one. Then number two, it would profit. So from a business perspective, profit. So the 3 main areas that I look at is client success, business growth, financial growth in that space, because the more money you have, the bigger impact you can make. So if I think about the money growing, I think about how many schools can I build in Cambodia? How many people can I give jobs to? How many people can I impact? How many charities can I support? How many mortgages can I pay of my family? Different things like that. I think about, well, how can I use this money? How many people can I impact? How much more can I fund into the business to make the business even better? How many people can I bring on? And so that is a really important KPI. I always think about clients first, then profit, then I think about team KPIs. So the team have different KPIs depending on their role. And so every single person has a KPI there. How do we track it? We track that on a weekly basis, and we track it through project management systems, those sort of things. So it is looking at, well, so if we've got the marketing department, what is the lead generation number? What is, the stick rate of people in that space? If we look at sales perspective, how many, what is our conversion rates based on this and this and this? If it's from a client success perspective, it could be client success or client engagement that we look at, or churn, right? Or retention. So we can have a look at that. If we look at structural project management, how much of the team are actually completing their tasks? Like, how are we effectively managing projects? So to go into detail around all the key KPIs is a lot, but it is important that you simplify it. So we've got a system now where we have like 15 that we able to see the whole business from. So 15, these are the 15 that we look at. When we look at these 15, it relates to every single area of the business, and it helps me give an overview of the business, because as you scale, the complexity scales, right? Generally speaking. So with that complexity, you as a business owner, you still need to have an overview or bird's eye view of everything that's going on. You can't do that being in it. So you got to be on it. And then the only way that you can measure that is through benchmarks, KPIs.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing. Really powerful to hear. The 3 main areas and some of the things that are really key to look at, Lisa. So I really love that. And I guess another thing is you've said you've had some challenges along the way, I'm sure, through your growth and scaling journey there. And you've probably needed to, I guess, adopt some daily habits or some things. You've had to change the way you're being, right, as a person, to make sure that you're performing at your peak as much as you can, and resting and things like that. So you'll maybe share a little bit about how you've had to change and what you do, I guess, on a daily basis to make sure that you can really serve as many people as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually spoke to a client today about this. The purpose of life is to get to know yourself. For everybody, the purpose of life is to get to know yourself. Why do I say that? Because as you go and travel and you go and experience all these things, people are like, I love traveling. Traveling is the best. Well, you go get put into situations where you learn more about yourself. When you get into a relationship or into a marriage, you get into a space where you learn through that other person more about yourself. When you go into business and you grow, it is about learning what you're capable of. So the purpose of life is to get to see and know what it is that you're made of. And so if that is the case, right, and we're doing that from that perspective, then we know that our direction always lands on that, right? So then that makes it, how can I connect to myself even more throughout the day? And I'm not waiting for the big milestones to happen, right? Because a lot of people put this energy and it's like, I need this goal to happen. This is what I'm working for. And that is everything. And they forget about the daily connections that create those moments. And so I said this to her, it's like, how can you create connection pieces for yourself to get to know yourself even more throughout the day? For me, that looks like when I exercise, when I eat well. I've given up alcohol for this year. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since last year. And so it is, that was a choice. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to give up alcohol. It was just, I also wasn't heavily on alcohol, but I just knew that when I had alcohol, when I drank a little bit, even if it's 1 or 2 glasses, it changes my body composition. So it changes my energy, and I start to crave certain foods that I wouldn't usually eat if I didn't drink. And then I eat those foods that then create a sugar craving for something else. And then I go down this wagon. And I was like, I don't want to go on that bandwagon. I want to be able to be on a bandwagon that supplies me more energy. So what does that look like? And for everybody else, I want to say this, you do not have to be the person that is getting up at 6 a.m. in the morning, or 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. club, whatever one you want to choose, and then go, you know what, now I'm going to go for a run, and then I'm going to meditate, and then I'm going to journal, and then I'm going to eat this thing because this is going to help me with this, and then I've got to go pick a flower and then run around the block and go give it to my neighbor because that's a part of my morning routine that's going to set me up for $1 million success. It is finding out what works best for you, what helps you connect. So if exercise in the morning does that for you, awesome. If meditation in the morning does that for you, awesome. If journaling in the morning does that for you, awesome. Whatever it is. But it's your mission to find out what gives you the energy to create and sustain the success, right? So it is for me now. I eat well. I've moved to Gold Coast because I want a lifestyle. I want to go be able to walk on the beach in 5 minutes. So I just drive, go and walk and have a long walk on the beach because that energizes me. I think about the things that bring me mojo, that bring me energy. Those are the things that I need to surround myself with to be able to operate from the best place that I can. What are the foods that I need to eat? What are the exercise? Who are the people that need to be in my life? Who are the people that need to be out of my life? What doors do I need to close? What doors do I need to open? How am I stretching myself and challenging my mind so that whatever confinement that I have, whatever restraint I have over here is now unblocked in a way that I become the most limitless person that I know. And that's my mantra. How can I become the most limitless person that I know? And the more I say that to myself, I go, okay, cool. Well, that involves energy. Energy is everything. That's the actual currency that people want to exchange. It's not time. Because if you had time and it depleted, say you had a whole hour and it depleted all and drained all your energy, you're not going to appreciate the time. It is how can you do things that give you life, that make you feel full, that help you connect to you even more. And for me, that is done through my business. It's also done outside of my business. And I don't believe in balance. I believe in harmony. How can you harmonize your world where your business works for you and your life works for your business, right? So it's like the business and the life work together in unison and create this dynamic experience for you that you are living in a way that makes you feel fulfilled. That's not I have to work or I have to life. It is I get to experience best of all my worlds, and everybody can. They just need to figure out how.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful stuff. Love that, Lisa. And yeah, it's all about energy and how we can, give ourselves more of it and help others with it as well. So really love that. And it's been powerful today. And as we're wrapping up, a question I love to ask at the end is, what one key piece of advice would you give to all the entrepreneurs watching and listening today?
One. I love that. That's insane. One.
Or you can do a few if you like, if you want to package it all into some massive.
Oh my word. I think I said it before. Yeah, then this is a hard question. Genuinely, if you can, not if you can, just make it your mission to become the most limitless person that you know. You see someone in the room and you feel triggered by them, go and resolve that trigger. If you're afraid to do something, go and do the thing. Like whatever it is, because the thing is, your fears and the things that you experience in life are guides to your greatness. And so every time you feel resistance, every time you feel fear, every time you feel limited, every time you feel triggered, every time you feel, whatever it is, something within your body, emotional stimulation in some way, shape, or form, it is a guide towards what you need to do, not a guide towards running away or hiding. And so make success, as Eminem says, your only mother effing option. Make success the only option. Choose not like anything else in the world. Make success, and success can be defined in any way, shape, or form for you. You design your success. Success does not only look like money. Success can look like money and health and connection and relationships and life and zest and fun and splashing in puddles or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just you get to design your life, but the only way you design your life is to allow yourself to bypass and break through and achieve the most limitless experience of life that you can. So become the most limitless person that you know, make success your only option, and allow yourself to use the guideposts that are designed by fear, triggers, resistance, responses, reactions in that way to guide you to where your greatness truly lies.
Yeah. Wow. Love that, Lisa. You came through with the goods as always. At the end as well. Love it. Powerful
Wow.
stuff. Awesome stuff. So yeah, we connected through our networks, where I learned about your awesome journey from being an engineer, to an events manager, to now a coach and helping other, female coaches ditch overwhelm, create their first 10K business month in 90 days, as well as scaling their business. You're an amazing woman. I'm sure everyone will agree from today. And I'm sure you continue to help women to gain clarity and direction in their coaching business. I'm very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you in the future as well. So Lisa, how can people find you and get in contact with you?
Beautiful. So you can add me on Facebook. You can go to the website's going live this week, which is really exciting. So www.rawleaders.com.au. So you can jump onto the website, which will have all the social handles. Or if you want to find me on Instagram, it's lisa.a.barry. And you can find me on there as well. So Raw Leaders, there's a 6-figure group as well that you can join, and I share like a bunch of content in there. So if there's any females out there, you're like, I just want to check it out, I want to see what it's all about, you're best to go to the Facebook group. So what I'll do is I'll send through that link to you, but it's Raw Leaders 6-figure female coaches Facebook group, right? It's very, very simple. So you can jump on there and I'll be more than happy to support. If you just refer and say like, hey, Athin, I listened to Athin's podcast, and I really want to connect with you, I'll make sure that you're taken care of.
Yeah, love that. Yeah. Really, really powerful stuff. Definitely check out Lisa. She is amazing in many ways. And thank you everyone for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. Please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis. So visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way we know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.